out of the way route. In the bottom right of the map, we have our green Terran player, Day 9's Ladder Clan's DaveSprite, promising that all of his racks will be in his base. Omee, our player in the top left, our pink Zerg player, responding that's all he'd ever ask for. But the real question, don't lie to me, Hannibal, says Omee in response. Oh boy. Well, here's the question, right? Are either of these players actually going to do anything different? So far, DaveSprite is staying true to his word. He's not sending out 2 SCVs to get those built just yet. Omee, on the other hand, is he going to be doing this one any different? Is he going to go for the fast natural? Is he going to trust his opponent actually or not? So far, not going for any early pools. Not doing anything particularly sneaky in this respect. DaveSprite, on the other hand, grabbing the 12 gas. So definitely setting up for a rather gas first, actually. So not only setting up for a potential Reaper, but maybe a faster stim this time. Not 100% clear on that timing. It actually, like, a lot of the timings for gas with Terran actually can lead to quite a few different things. Some of them in particular, for example, can go down macro play, or can go down normal play, can go down cheesy play. Some of them, like the 12 gas, pretty much always indicate, as long as it comes after the barracks, pretty much always indicates a fast Reaper. Not necessarily what our Terran player is going for. It could be. We'll have to wait and see. He's picked up far more the gas than he needs for just the Reaper, so I suspect this will be a little bit more than that. Oh boy, it looks like we're getting some pretty bad lag here. So far, both players are not complaining, so as long as they don't ask for a pause, we'll keep going, we'll soldier through. Alright, reactors coming up now. So this is a fast Marine play. Oh, no. I see what this is. This is the fast Hellion pressure. Maybe with a couple Reapers to back it up. So, yeah, this is pretty much just one of the standard openings that we see used a lot. DaveSprite, as I've mentioned before, is kind of a fan of mech. So I would not be surprised to see him go down that route to pick up a lot of those powerful units, such as Hellion siege tanks, Thors eventually, going down eventually into air Terran. Meanwhile, Omee's actually being much more cautious this time, has grabbed his spawning pool and link speed first. He's now picking up his natural, so DaveSprite has obtained the exact effect from those cheese plays that he wanted, which is he won for the macro game, and his opponent is now picking a slightly more economically aggressive build. However, for some reason, he's building this on the low ground. I am not a fan of that, actually. I mean, I don't really see what the point of this is. I guess he wants to potentially hide this, but the thing is, that's so close to the edge of the ramp. It would not take much more than an accidental twitch of the links for them to pick up on this, but he's just kind of hoping that it works out. I think he's trying to feign going into mech and then go into bio instead. That's what the tech lab would actually allow him to do, is he can start picking up upgrades like stim. Alright. Alan's getting into a little battle with the slowlings out here. Slowlings all running back away from the rocks. You don't want to be trapped down here. And actually may be able to keep Omee busy up here. So, like, regardless of the placement of this barracks down here, which, oh, it's fast concussive shells? Oh, he's anticipating a big roach play from Omee. And he's going to try and hard counter it with a lot of Marauders, which are really good against roaches, but that's not happening at all. He's getting a Baneling nest. He got speed. He's getting basically all Ling stuff. So this is gonna, I mean, these guys are powerful, but they're not really all that great against these massive light units. I think he's trying to cause a reaction toward roaches just with the Hellions here, but, you know, he hasn't gone up past 4. And 4 Hellions is not too unusual in bioplay, so it doesn't really sell this all that great. Now 6 might, but the question is, will Omee even fall for it? He's already got a spine crawler up in his base. He's got a second one building. Doesn't have anything at the natural, but then again, if you look at the natural, he's not really attempting to populate it with any drones just yet. So he may be about to transfer some down there, but I don't know if that's what we're about to see. 2 banelings actually being produced down here. This has done about 50% damage to the rocks. Actually has not confirmed the presence or lack of a base just yet. How come the Hellbats? So this is a fast Hellbat push from DaveSprite. Very interesting. Let's see how well this works out. This will do a lot of damage to the Lynx, but the thing is, will it actually work against the Spine Crawlers? So far does not appear to be. Killed one Hellbat without taking too much damage. There needs to pull that Queen out. Needs to keep the Queen alive. Does not want to lose that. Oh, that's going to hurt his production pretty badly there. He's going to miss at least 1 inject. Does have this one running, so it's going to help out a little bit here, but this is a very dangerous place to be in. Remember that Hellbats count as both biological and mechanical, so SCVs can repair them. And it looks like that's what he's going for, just a big Hellbat push. Flames building right now. All of the spine crawlers uprooting for some reason, now moving to the edge of the creep. Spreading out a little bit so as to not, well, was spreading out a little bit. He's scanned up there. He might try and go up there to try and deal with this. Looks like that's exactly what he's doing. Banelings are now being produced on the side. And that's a lot of defensive firepower in the form of those 3 spine crawlers. Not a whole lot of things can actually deal with that. Link's trying to run forward and distract the Hellbats a little bit here. Does take care of a few of them, but there's just so much DPS. 2 of the spine crawlers go down a minute already, but the Banelings come out, and their splash damage is actually enough to finish all the Hellbats off, and now there's only a bunch of Marauders here. They need some more help. These 2 Widowmines can do a lot of damage right now. There's actually no detection at all. Getting them up into the... even just anywhere near the mineral line will be enough to completely shut it down. So that's probably going to be what we see DaveSprite go for next here. Hope he's just going to use it to lock down this location. Meanwhile, we have some Lings already in the base of DaveSprite. He has found a big move out of SCVs coming to assist this push, but it looks like the Lings are already here to deal with this, and he's just going to shut this down as best he can. Now he's actually running the Lings back home. This is not a good... oh boy. Widowmines are going to do some damage to them. Only 2 Lings actually make it back home. 1 does actually take care of all the Hellbats again. Widowmines are currently out of commission. All we have down here are SCVs and Marauders. Actually, DaveSprite slightly behind in workers now, having pulled so many to actually get this attack going. And so far, all he really needs is 1 good Baneling hit on these workers right here, and this attack is pretty much over for DaveSprite. These Widowmines do pose a huge problem. Still, again, right now, there's no detection. He's finally getting a Spore Crawler. Good. That'll help out a lot with this. He can at least protect the mineral line. Technically, DaveSprite should have the advantage economically in a 1 base versus 1 base situation. But this is not a very simple position that our players currently find ourselves in, so it can't be analyzed with just that. 2 Banelings now comes up here, trying to go after the SCVs, does take out a couple of them. Marauders, still mostly in play. Oop, let's finish off another one. And takes care of both Marauders. Nope, one of them gets away, just barely. Actually now in the... Ooh, nice splitting right there from Omee, almost losing all of the Lings right there. Does not, takes out the Widowmine. Falls back, building up a couple more Banelings. The economy for DaveSprite now falling down to 13 SCVs, having pulled so many at this point. Only 10 of them currently actually mining. And both of our players are now in an extremely thin situation. I think, just barely, Omee has more or less managed to stabilize here. We have a couple more Hellions coming up to join the fray. And DaveSprite actually has quite a bit of resources that he's actually just not spending. I think he's trying to think right now on what he wants to do next. Spore Crawler moving forward. Spine Crawler building at the back. I don't know if I like him running his only detection all the way up to the front up here. He could easily lose this in this situation, especially with these 2 Hellbats now in position. Up come 4 Banelings. They're going to blow up almost exclusively on the Hellbats. It does take care of pretty much all the defensive forces here, though. And... one Queen goes down to a Widowmine. This is a very, very tense position for both of these players. That Marauder is just not going to die. He's going to sit here on 1 HP with 3 kills. Still had not enough to get promoted. No, don't bring the queen down there. Good. Doesn't lose it. Ling's finally starting to come out. Mining, getting up a few more drones as well. Omee's actually economically ahead right now. I think he suspects this, but he doesn't know. DaveSprite back home is trying to go for a natural as well as a starport. So he's trying to at least be able to continue mining. I was about to say because he's probably mined out by now, but then I forgot that he took half of his workers away, so he's been mining at like half normal capacity. He could actually trigger these things with creep tumors. That is a thing that is possible in this situation. And it looks like DaveSprite wants to just hold back and go for a gigantic economic edge. Once again, so kind of a similar mentality to what we've seen in the other 2 games. Do some damage to your opponent, lock him in his base, get an economic edge, just be ahead of him for the rest of the game. And that's pretty much the way DaveSprite has been playing this. Does trigger one Widow Mine, not the other one. Spore Crawler's pushing out now. Spine Crawler's going to come up. This will be enough to clean both of these out. Ling running forward. Not sure why. Going to lose that Ling. And boom. Does make sure that they die, of course. Only tricky thing being that this Widow Mine down here actually still denies this natural expansion from coming up. Broach is now coming out and joining the fray. It looks like DaveSprite's actually switching into mostly a bio setup. Does have a couple Marauders, but he's starting to produce Marines. Is picking up... what is he going to go for with this? Reactor? So maybe Vikings? Maybe Vikings? Maybe just for medevacs? We'll have to wait and see. Pretty much very, very sparse looking base right now. Just hard to tell really what he's going for just yet. There we go. 3 barracks, so it looks like bio play. It's going to be heading up into simple Marine medevac, maybe Marine medevac Marauder. It does have a couple Widow Mines to augment it, but that's what we're looking at from here. For Omee, he's going to want to get in there and scout this soon if he can. He's been in an awkward place all game as far as this has been, but if he can extend that mineral income a little bit, he's got enough gas to do a very nice Mutalisk switch. So that may be on the cards for him in the future. We'll have to wait and see. So here's a real question. Is that current Marauder that's in that bunker, yeah, he's got red health. So that Marauder down there is probably the same one that actually escaped before. Somehow that Marauder actually getting back to the base after the failed assault and living to tell the tale. Not totally failed, mind you. I mean, he did a lot of damage to Omee, but wasn't the victory that perhaps the forces of the Terran were hoping for. This is probably about to be discovered, and if it is, this is really, really rough for DaveSprite as he will lose this combat shields upgrade. The question is, will it be discovered before then? The attack, no, not starting just yet. Omee's still waiting, doesn't want to reveal it. He's moving his units forward, just out of range. 15 more seconds on his combat shield. Units coming down here. Doesn't see it just yet. Just outside of his vision. And the upgrade actually will finish. Even if he were to attack it now, he could easily leave the barracks up. And I gotta say, it's good for DaveSprite. It's gonna help out a lot here, and I bet you he's gonna find it right now. Yeah, because that thing's gonna transform right as soon as it enters its vision. He's gonna be like, oh, look at this. That's a nice production structure. And then the chainlings are gonna walk up here, and nope, doesn't trigger the Widow Mine. You can't actually do that if you drop them close enough, though. We'll identify it as an enemy. Oh, this is potentially very nice for Omee if you can actually take this base out, or better yet, isolate and trap this army in the middle. Banelig's coming up to help out with the attack. He's going to get at least a few Hellbats here. Widow Mine does shut down that last Baneling. And DaveSprite is immediately going, okay, guess I don't want to take that third right now. I'm going to go back up in my base. Omee, on the other hand, is going to head back home. Starting to catch up to his opponent economically, at least as far as workers are concerned. He would love to be ahead right now, so he's still got some ways to go. And finally, there's the third from Omee. Question will be for DaveSprite is when to actually go back out and attempt that again. It looks like the answer is right now. Unfortunately, no ability to burrow Lings here to block this. There's nothing left to block it a few extra seconds either. So it looks like our Terran player will actually be able to secure this base here shortly. Scans up here in the natural, picks up the one One worker mining gas. Oh, and he sees a drone transfer. The question is whether he was paying attention at the scan right at the edge there. If he was, then he definitely knows this third base is there. Probably see him probably see him just passively hang back either way to get this base up. He has to build a little bit around it to make sure that it's actually properly defended. This last time, this was about the point when he started to build missile turrets for defense. So far, he actually hasn't done that too much. He's only got the one in the main base here and a couple in the natural. Decent, but not perfect. Still a lot of really vulnerable buildings around here, and this whole location down here where the upgrades are is completely undefended from air. Meanwhile, we have a triple drop moving out toward the top end of the map. This will probably be targeting, yes, targeting on the third. So he did pick up on the drone transfer. And the real question will be, how much damage will this get done? We currently have out right now for the Zerg something around 10 Lings, 9 Mutilisks, and 11 Roaches. And meanwhile, this thing is actually full only about halfway with Marines. So they can do a decent amount of damage to the Mutilisks, but not too much. If he's able to focus on the Marines quickly, he'll be able to fire force. The real question will be, how much will he lose in the process? Drone's just coming out here, doesn't have to move them. Complete retreat from the base of the drones while Lings are moving in for the attack. Moving back up to the army now. Mutilisks are currently across the map and are unable to assist in the defense, unfortunately, which means that this base is going to fall. 9 Banelings being produced. They will come out with the army and the Roaches in just a moment here. Maybe proceeding a little bit ahead of everything. But it looks like DaveSprite's not going to really stick around to fight. He's going to lose... Actually, he does need to drop. There we go. Very nice move on DaveSprite there to get the units out of the medevac to cover for the escape attempt. Unfortunately, losing some Marines in the process. Doesn't really have much in the way of anti-air here anymore. So he is going to lose at least this one medevac. The rest can be pursued, and they are, but the Mutilisks are catching up to them. This boost ability on the medevacs helps them get away sometimes, but it's not always effective at that. See if he attempts to drop everything again. He is doing that. It does catch at least the Mutilisks' attention for a moment. Won't necessarily kill any of them, but it does force him to take the heat off of the medevac, so to speak. For some reason, a lot of workers coming out for a push right now. Unfortunately, encountering the army separate from the rest, so they don't really get to effectively tank. Decent splitting here. Banelings go off on a small pack of Marines, and the rest survive. A few Roaches at the front to try and fight with this. One Marauder actually slowing a lot of them down. And it looks like Omee is actually just going to lose all of this right here. And I think just barely, DaveSprite is starting to take a very commanding position here. He's got an incredible supply lead right now, up by almost 100 supply over a Zerg opponent that's devastating in just its overall amount of damage it can output against the Zerg has. He basically has nothing, unfortunately. He's going to lose at least this third. Probably, if he loses the natural, then we can call this game 100% done at that point, because there's basically no mining up here, so this is a very, very scary position. 6 more Mutilisks coming out, 2 Banelings. He needs a miracle hit right now against this Marine Bioball, probably to convince DaveSprite to go away. And not only does he need DaveSprite to go away, but he actually needs him to stay away, and that's going to be where this gets very, very tricky, in that Omee needs a lot of time right now, and he basically doesn't have it. Banelings go off, don't do any real damage. He's going to be wondering if that was the only army right now, and he's going to push up, it looks like, for a 2-sided attack. Marines setting up to attack the rocks on this side, while the rest of his army postures at the ramp. Oh, he finds a bunch of Banelings cooking up there. Isn't really able to push forward and pressure them so great. Banelings are running back out of there. Mutilisks going to move forward, try and snipe off the Marauders. Oh, and they run straight into the Banelings. A lot of the Marines actually dying right there. Not all of them, but enough to actually push this back. So Omee is not necessarily out of this just yet. Unfortunately, we have another attack coming up from the other side. He's actually bunching up all behind the mineral line. They'll get some damage done, but where are the Banelings? Banelings still pursuing out here. They're gone. And these 2 Widow Mines are going to have a field day with that Mutalisk. Mutalisks come back, are able to clean up the army. It does take a lot of damage in the process. Another hatchery coming down out here. Still kept the natural, which is good for Omee, but still looking to be very, very scary. DaveSprite's rebuild capacity is simply much, much greater than our Zerg players right now. He's all the way up to 159 supply. So despite having hung in there, unfortunately, there's still a long, long, long road for our pink Zerg player right now. Up come another Bio Ball. It's going to discover them. It does take out 1 Mutalisk. That rapid regen should be able to keep the rest alive, but that does mean Omee is going to be a little bit hesitant to actually just attack this Marine Ball right away, and he does. Gets right on top of it, loses 2, 3, 4 more Mulisks. And unfortunately, I don't think he has anything to deal with this time. A lot of the Lings are about to spawn right here on top of the army. It's going to be possible for them to die pretty quickly here. Unfortunately, they were just fighting piecemeal. They're never really able to get the critical mass. Marine Ball has just become too strong, and there's the GG. Well, looks like our turn player takes it 2-1.